Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be doing the unboxing and posing overview for the Artillery Stormtrooper from the Mandalorian. In this video we will be unboxing the figure, doing a figure and accessory overview, kind of talking about how we can pose with all the accessories, and then doing some actual posing with everything. Then in the end I'll be giving my final thoughts. If you enjoy Hot Toys, 6 scale collecting, posing, and anything like that, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, comment if you want to see more, like if you have specific things in mind you want to see, and let's get right into the unboxing. As I always say, every good unboxing has to start with the box. Taking a look here, we have all black for the box with a picture of the figure up front. We have him loading a mortar in a pretty neat pose, which I'll probably take to show you guys in the posing overview section. We have the Star Wars logo, and we have a nice little wraparound banner with another picture of the figure on the right here. We have TMS-047 Artillery Stormtrooper written down there at the bottom. Moving around to this side, you can see another picture of the figure. This time he's standing in front of the mortar, space mortar. Around back we have a whole bunch of information. You guys can read that if you want. And then on the other side we have part of his arm and more words just saying Artillery Stormtrooper. Looking at the top here, just says Star Wars. Around the bottom, Star Wars as well. Alright, now ready to get this thing opened. Let's go ahead and get this unboxing going. Let's go ahead and lift the top off here, set that down. Here we have a nice little slip cover. It says Star Wars Artillery Trooper on the bottom. And then look at that pose. Now that's a pose I actually kind of want to take too. Just show you guys once we get to the posing section. Set this down. Now we can see the figure. This looks very nice. Let's go ahead and get him out of there. Set this down. Now let's go ahead and unbox him. Let's start by getting the hands out here. Get that tape up. Peel it off the bottom, set that down. Well, now let's go ahead and get this cover off. I'm going to set this down with the box. Let's grab the figure. Got some plastic all over him. I'll take that off in a minute. But yeah, this looks nice. Let's get him in a frame here. Yeah, this looks really good. This is actually my first Stormtrooper. It's not a classic Stormtrooper or anything. I do have the Clone Wars Captain Rex. He's really cool, but thankfully not a Stormtrooper, you know, although they have similar looking costumes. But yeah, this guy looks really good. I believe I've heard some people call him the Mustard Trooper, but either way, I'm going to set him off to the side. I'm going to get all the accessories here laid out, and then we're going to go through each one. Alright, so I got everything laid out here. We got all the accessories, the figure, the base, and even the instruction manual. Let's start by taking a quick look at the manual here. Opening it up, we have instructions on how to install the backpacks, thermal detonators, how to pose the mortar, articulate it, that's the word I was looking for, and then a bunch of other info on the back. Let's go ahead and take that off the screen. Next, I actually left the plastic on the figure so we could take a closer look and also take all the plastic off, see how difficult that is. Yeah, the light might be blowing him out a little bit because he's in a white outfit with white light. But there's just a piece of plastic stain on him. Let's take that off. Go ahead and get a close look at that head and the helmet. Take that plastic off. Look on the side here, slide that out. Slide it out on this side. See how difficult the feet are. Take this plastic, move it off to the side. Go ahead and slide the feet right out. Ah, nice. Sometimes I have to get a little scissors or a knife or something to trim up some little bit of tape on the actual legs and stuff like that with the plastic on, but it's actually pretty easy today. So I just felt another piece of plastic. There's some plastic around his ankles. This one might be a little more difficult. Let's go ahead and pull that off. Pull off on this side. There we go. Yeah, don't want to bend ankles or do anything like that. Yeah, he's looking really good. He has, I believe this is called a pauldron. I actually really like it. It feels really nice. Love how all the armor feels. Yeah. But yeah, I'm not going to feel him up. I'll take a closer look at them inside the light display case coming up soon, but I'm going to stop flipping around here, sit them back down, move the plastic, and take a look at all the accessories here. Alright, so I moved us in a little bit closer here to all the accessories. Still got the figure staying off to the side there. Let's start by looking at some, I guess a little bit more boring, just the wrist pegs here. Comes with an extra set of 2. Put that back down. Let's take a look at the base. Usually there's a peel on here where it says Star Wars Artillery Stormtrooper. Actually, mine didn't seem to have one because, yeah, I don't feel one. So that's interesting. Don't know if it really matters much, but there's actually a cover that sits on top of the base here. Has a nice texture, not really rock textured, more just kind of like that grippy tape, if you know what I'm talking about, like a skateboard type texture. On the back here, it's just white, so if you want a white base plate, that's not what it's for, but if you really want that. And then there's just, yeah, here, some flooring. Looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and put this back on and snap in the crotch grabber. That is the proper term. Go ahead and pop this in. Yeah, don't worry. They like to pop in there and cause trouble. There we go. Whew, everything survived. Yeah, that's always going to be a little bit loose, but now we got the crotch grabber in there. I'm going to go ahead and set this back down. And then let's take a look at the hands next. Picking up the hands here. Let's take a closer look. Let's just grab this one, take a look at all the detail, get nice and close. Yeah, I love when all the troopers have a little bit of pop of color on them. So I really like that yellow in there. See, it has some like dirt on it. Yeah, paint it on. Have all the texture. That's cool. You can see he has some, I guess, like padded parts for his gloves. Help when he's gripping the thermal detonators to throw them. So this one here looks like just an open palm hand. We have a trigger hand, which that's interesting because he actually doesn't come with any weapons. If I ever get any more troopers and have an extra blaster, I'm definitely going to have to use that. Maybe I can actually use Rex's. See when we get to the posing. We have 2 closed fists here. Well, one slightly open to hold the thermal detonator in there, it looks like. The other's just closed, so he's punching some people. And yeah, there's the other fully closed one. Yeah, and then set those back down. Taking a closer look at the figure, you can see he has 2 relaxed open hands on there. This one's a little more turned. Yeah, so that's the hands. Let's take a look at the space mortar now, which is what I like to call it. Has some nicely textured black on it with some orange in there. Looks very nice. Some orange dots at the bottom. Some blue, red mixed in there. A little metal carabiner. Yeah, just a ring. Yeah. So this is actually pretty neat. So it articulates, of course, so you can pop the legs out. And you can roll these down. Let's not do that. Okay, so yeah, I had to take this off camera actually to make sure these actually did move. I didn't want to break it, and yeah, although you all would probably enjoy watching that, I did not want to break my new figure here or his accessories. Yeah, these do move, so you can get in a nice little pose. This articulates up a little bit there. See if we can set it down in a little quick pose. Yeah, it's a bad angle, but staying there in a nice little mortar position. It's going to look nice when I pose him with it. Just real quick, let's go ahead and grab a thermal detonator. This is a white one that comes with him. The other one's in the backpack we'll check out here in a second, but this is just one that was loose when I unboxed it. This actually can fit in here. You can see it in there. Be kind of pointless unless you have a way to pose it to where you can look down into it, which I don't know who's going to be doing that, but yeah, it's nice that you can, so you can be like partially putting it in or something like that. So that's pretty neat. Real quick, let's take a look at his little silver, gray, charcoal gray, whatever you want to call them, thermal detonators here. These ones are different than the white ones. You can see there's a lot of detail in there. Alright, camera does not want to focus on them. There we go, it's a little better. Yeah, so these are little ones that you can put in his hand, have him throw. I don't know if they shoot these ones out the mortar, but if you really wanted to, you probably could make him look like he's doing that. Yeah, those ones look pretty cool. Move on to the backpack now. Moving on to the backpack. Let's take a look at all the detail in here. You have, I don't know if that's supposed to be a yellow thermal detonator. It doesn't come out, but it's like a little bottle in there. He also has 3 more white thermal detonators. These ones do not come out. And you have a magnet on the back here to attach it to his back. Yeah, this is pretty cool looking. And I believe you can also attach the thermal detonators here to the backpack. Here or somewhere. We'll go ahead and check that out here in a second. Let's go ahead and pick up this thermal detonator and show how it goes in there. It just magnetizes in, kind of lines up with all the other ones, which is nice if you want to have it in there. Although for me, I'd probably choose to have them holding it or have it staying off to the side, give it a little bit more of a dynamic look in the collection. Let's go ahead and try to fit those gray thermal detonators in here. Try to do it on camera. These just fit in with a little bit of friction, so they kind of just sit in there. Probably line that a little better. Yeah, it looks a little bit better. Take the second one, put that in there. Yeah, everything always gets a million times harder when you're doing it through the camera. So I've always noticed. Yeah, so those are in there now. Let's go ahead and pick up the figure and magnetize the backpack to him. I didn't miss there. Yeah, so the backpack sits on him like that. When we get to the posing, we'll take a look at him wearing it, kind of doing some more cool little dynamic things with him. For this last little part of the accessory section here, let's go ahead and take this out and actually put it on his belt. Hopefully I have that the right way around. Kind of just sits on there, has a little bit of styrofoam or foam on there. Yeah, so you can do that if you want. Although this is the only one that comes with the figure, so if you have it sitting there, then you can't use it for anything else, which kind of stinks when it comes to posing, but we'll see. Maybe we'll put it there sometimes just to store it. But so that actually concludes the accessory section here. Let's go ahead and get into the posing overview and the figure overview. Kicking off the figure overview section here, I just want to do a quick little comparison between this Artillery Stormtrooper and Boba Fett. I know these characters don't look entirely similar, but they're both from the Mandalorian line. And the reason I wanted to pull out this Boba Fett, which I just took him straight from my collection, this is the pose I had him in. I actually had him staying on this Stormtrooper helmet that you can see right there. This helmet is all busted up from the scene in the show where he was just beating up a bunch of Stormtroopers, which was awesome. And that helmet is actually compatible with the Stormtrooper, and I haven't been able to do it yet because I haven't had any Stormtroopers I could put the helmet on, but I want to actually take this helmet and put it onto this Artillery Stormtrooper and show you all what it'll look like. So let's do that now. Throwing this helmet on the figure real quick, you can see it's pretty damaged, just got punched in the face by Boba Fett. And it's technically not accurate for this Stormtrooper because it doesn't have any yellow in it, but it still looks pretty cool. I just put him in a pose where he's kind of fallen over after getting punched. But yeah, it's pretty easy to swap out. You just pop off the old helmet, just a ball peg in there, and then pop the new one on, and you're good. But now, let's get this helmet back on him and take a closer look at the figure for the figure overview. Now I went ahead and switched on over to my handheld camera mode, so apologies if it gets a little shaky. So now I have the Trooper here just spinning around inside of the display case with all the lights on so we can see all the details. Go ahead and zoom out for you guys so you can see everything. See him rotating around there. Now let's move in, get a little closer. Let's get a closer look at this helmet. You can see the yellow has some chipping on it, so it's kind of a cool little detail because you can actually tell that they painted the helmet, so there's white coming up from underneath when it gets damaged. And there's a bunch of dirt mixed in there. You can see all that dirt. And then moving down, he has the pauldron, if that's what it's called. Still can't remember exactly, so let's see if I'm right. The pauldron's cool. I always like when it adds that little bit of flair to the figure. Has paint, pauldron, and of course this really cool backpack there. Backpack, it's held on by that magnet that we talked about earlier. And then we have the chest piece here. You can see all that weathering and detail. You can see the 2 little grenades there, or thermal detonators on the backpack. I took the one thermal detonator out and put it on the back of him because without it, it's kind of just like a little foam pad on the back of the figure that to me just doesn't really look right. So you can do whichever you want because you're not really going to see the back of him depending how you have him displayed. But I just put it on him for now just to show you guys up close. Moving down a little more, you have his leg armor all chipped and damaged and dirty. And then moving down to his feet, he actually has a lot of dirt on him. Kind of see. Yeah. On camera it doesn't look like a lot, but in person it looks like there's quite a bit of dirt on the bottom of him. Kind of all up on there on the paint. And yeah, it's a quick little overview of the figure. Now let's go ahead and get into the posing overview. Alright, so this first pose I did here, of course, I had to go with him using the mortar, loading it up. This pose was actually kind of challenging to get him in. So as you can see, his legs did not want to bend out how I was hoping they would. I even checked online to see some pictures how they posed it with the legs out like that, and I don't know how they did it. I could not get the legs to go out anymore. So he's at a slight angle. He has the mortar here. The mortar, I tried getting it to angle up more, but I don't know if it's just mine, but those springs in there would not stay, so it kept kind of slipping over a little bit. And yeah, his head, the pauldron actually got in the way when I was trying to tilt it off to the side like that. But other than that, the pose seems to be kind of successful. You can let me know what you think. And also throughout this section, if there's any poses you guys like and potentially want me to do a little posing tutorial video for it, just let me know in the comments. At the time of filming this, I haven't made any yet, but yeah, some that I could be interested in doing if you guys want to see some posing tutorials. That or any other figures on my channel. But let's get into some more poses. For the next pose, I decided to do a thermal detonator thrown pose. So you can see here in the left hand, it's actually that trigger finger that holds the thermal detonator. So it's cool they include it because it holds a thermal detonator and you can also hold a blaster with it, which I'm going to test that out. I'm going to go grab Rex's blaster and see if he'll be able to hold it coming up here in a minute, probably on the next pose. And then over here he has kind of like a aiming pointing hand. And then down here I just kind of set his backpack there, kind of for a little bit of set dressing, just showing that he took his backpack off, grabbed his thermal detonator, and is getting ready to throw it at some enemies. Well, his enemies. He doesn't realize that he's a bad guy. Alright, on to the next pose. So you all can be the judges, but I believe a pretty successful attempt was made here to get the blaster to fit in his hands. Of course, it's from the wrong era. This is one that actually came as Captain Rex from the Clone Wars, so it's not accurate, but it's the only other blaster I could find because I don't have any other Stormtroopers. But yeah, it actually fit in his hand pretty well, so it seemed a little bit oversized trying to get his hand in there, but it worked, and you can't really tell from this angle anyway, and using his other hand, he's just holding on to it. And with all the articulation, the arms, the swivels, everything, I was able to get him in a pretty good shooting pose. See that right there. Another angle. And then yeah, even throwing his backpack on, he's still balanced pretty well. I don't have him on the stand at the moment, I just put him in a kind of spread pose. Yeah, that's how I want to describe it. But yeah, so this is a pretty good pose. I do enjoy it. I just wish I had a proper weapon that he came with, but other than that, it's pretty good. For the last pose here, I just went with the trooper carrying the mortar. Just bring it off to war so he can set it up and start launching thermal detonators. Yeah, I have him in a bit of a kind of action pose, just carrying it there. Getting his arms to hold it in a good spot was a little difficult. I was trying to get him to hold it a bit differently, but didn't really work out too well. Yeah, the articulation on this guy is a little difficult, but yeah, let's talk about it in the final thoughts section. So while the Artillery Stormtrooper spins around there, I'll give you guys my final thoughts on this figure. So posability wise, it's pretty tough. It's a Stormtrooper, he's in a bunch of armor, you're not going to get a ton of articulation out of it. However, since it's an Artillery Stormtrooper, I would have hoped it would have been easier to at least get him to bend his knees so he can get closer to the mortar. I did look at when I was trying to do that pose, I couldn't figure it out, so I actually looked up a photo of it. And they had his belt a lot higher, so his leg could bend more. I couldn't figure out how to do that, and I really didn't want to break my figure, so I just kind of did what I did, what you guys saw in the pose there. Yeah, it was a little difficult to pose him, but still a fun figure to work with. I kind of wish there was more weapons than just a mortar and some thermal grenades, or thermal detonators, not grenades. It's a Star Wars. So the mortar's fun. It's very unique. He does come with a trigger hand in case you do want to give him a blaster from a different figure. So that works, because that was actually one of my favorite poses with him, because I'm a big fan of unique looking troopers, and this Stormtrooper with all the yellow on him and everything is, of course, unique. So it's a good one. I actually got him with a pretty good discount because I believe the Mandalorian line was overproduced, so I picked him up recently with a very heavy % off. So if you can find him for that, I'd say go for it. He's a good little like background character, or if you're setting up a cool little trooper display, he's good. There is a red version of him out there, the Flame Trooper from the show, that I didn't see anywhere to get my hands on at the moment, but potentially that'd be one I'd look for, because I do like the Mandalorian a lot. If you see some of my other videos on my channel before I started doing commentary and talking about it more, I did the Mandalorian, Boba Fett, the Moff Gideon, a bunch of characters from the Mandalorian, so I'm a pretty big Mandalorian fan, so that's why I definitely wanted to pick up this trooper. And yeah, I don't know what else there is to really say about him. It's fun. I'm going to put him in my collection, probably change up the pose from this one, because this one he's just kind of carrying the mortar. Probably set him up either throwing the detonator or try to get him back on his knee. Maybe look up some more photos, see if there's anyone that figured it out an easier way. But yeah, so as always, if there's anything you guys want me to do on the channel, or just kind of want me to do some little like posing tutorials, if there's any poses in this video you liked, or there's other figures on my channel you want to see posing tutorials for, just let me know. Haven't made any at the time of filming this, but it's something I'm interested in, so just let me know what you guys want. I've been saying that in the end of my videos, so probably stop mentioning it, just let you all figure out what you want and then go from there. And yeah, that's about it. So make sure to like the video, subscribe, turn on the bell notification icon so you're notified whenever more videos pop up. Check out my shorts. I have a lot of posing shorts in case you want any inspiration for your future poses, or want to check out some other figures I have and other videos on the channel. Should be some recommendations that pop up. Go ahead and watch another video, and I will see you all in the next one.